In Indian culture, prasad is much more than food. It is a sacred offering that represents pure hospitality, shared blessings, and the idea that in the eyes of the divine, everyone is equal. Curious, but what happens when a tradition meant to unify a community is weaponized to exclude the people who need it most? It forces us to look at how wealth influences our perspective, and whether money makes us forget the people who stood by us when we had nothing. To see how this tension plays out, we have to look at a small village in South India and the story of two siblings, Uma and her baby brother, Gopal. Their journey provides a baseline for understanding how a cultural ritual can lose its spirit if the person performing it lacks basic human empathy. Uma and Gopal were orphaned while Uma was still just a child. She was forced to step up immediately, acting as both mother and father to her brother. She spent her youth in the dirt, plowing fields and sowing seeds, sacrificing her own future to ensure Gopal's survival. That grueling labor paid off. Because of Uma's work in the fields, Gopal was able to finish his studies and build a life for himself. When it came time for Uma to marry, she chose a village man who didn't care about her lack of money. He valued her for her courage and the way she had provided for her brother. Before she left, Uma asked Gopal for one thing: a promise to keep their family's tradition of the Lakshmi Puja alive in his new home. For Gopal, this wasn't just about a religious holiday. It was a vow to remember where he came from and the sister who got him there. Years pass, and Gopal finds his own success. He eventually marries Kamala, the daughter of a wealthy farmer who is deeply concerned with social standing. When the holy month of Shravana arrives, Kamala makes a decision that breaks Gopal's promise. She forbids him from inviting Uma to the grand Lakshmi Puja. Kamala's reasoning is simple. She believes Uma's poverty and scruffy clothes will embarrass the family in front of their wealthy friends. Gopal chooses to prioritize his wife's vanity and his new social status over the debt he owes to his sister. Even though she wasn't invited, Uma shows up anyway. She arrives in patched clothes, accepts a simple portion of prasad on a banana leaf, and gives the couple her blessing. While Uma continues to offer unconditional love, Gopal and Kamala have shifted into a transactional way of living, governed by the fear of looking poor. This pattern continued for 7 years, until Uma's husband saw his business take off. Suddenly, they were the ones with the massive house and a carriage driven by 4 white horses. Uma was now seen in the finest silks, a far cry from the patched clothes she wore to her brother's house every year. The moment Kamala hears of this fortune, she changes her tune. She tells Gopal to go to Uma's house immediately with expensive gifts and a personal invitation to the next puja. The invitation was fueled by the sudden appeal of Uma's bank account, rather than any genuine regret for 7 years of exclusion. On the day of the puja, Uma arrives with a clatter of horse hooves. She steps out in a golden Banarasi sari and diamonds that catch the light, drawing every eye in the room. Kamala and Gopal are suddenly the perfect hosts. They rush to give her cushioned seats and silver plates of sweets, while Kamala stands by her side with a fan. But then, Uma starts doing something strange. She begins taking off her jewelry, her necklaces, her earrings, and piling them on the chair next to her. She picks up the sweets one by one and places them directly onto her gold ornaments and her silk shawl. By feeding her jewelry instead of herself, Uma is showing everyone that the feast wasn't actually for her. It was a tribute to the gold she was wearing. Uma makes it clear that she was perfectly happy with the prasad she received on a banana leaf for years. She didn't need the silver plates to feel blessed. As the other guests watch, Gopal and Kamala are left to face the reality of how shallow their hospitality had become. It's a final reminder that true respect should be tied to a person's character and their history, not the size of the carriage they use to pull up to the gate.